probably the newest member of the Lakers Hall of Fame eventually. I
Mm.
want this man to have a statue outside Staples. I want this man to have a jersey retirement, an
Yes.
extravagant jersey
Mm.
retirement. I want this man to have lifelong employment with the Los Angeles Lakers. Please
Yep.
make it happen, Mr. Walter.
Yep.
I'm talking about Lakers legend,
Laker
Mr. Nico
legend
Harrison.
Nico Harrison. Yep.
Mr. Nico Harrison. He just got fired from his job.
Yep.
As expected, the Dallas Mavericks are
Mm.
dog shit. They're horrible. They're not going anywhere. All right? They but okay, so what are our thoughts first about this legend getting fired first? Let's go with that.
Like, I mean, it was bound to happen. One thing is that, I mean, it's bound to happen. But then, this all like we all know that this whole odyssey of Nico Harrison's last few months with the Dallas Mavericks all started with a Luka trade.
Yep.
But then again, of course, we know that owners can't fire themselves, and we all know that this Luka trade um, would not have materialized without the buy-in of the Dallas Mavericks owner. So in a way, I think you know Nico Harrison got scapegoated in a way because again the owners should have signed off on this trade definitely unless they weren't in the conversations, which I highly doubt. But then again, like you see the repercussions of this trade was just it. I will go off on a limb and say this is one of the worst trades in the Mavericks, you know, franchise history. Just like in Lakers history, the worst trade in our team's history is the Russell Westbrook trade, and we see the repercussions. Like it's not just that. Did you see AD lately?
What is
Like
up with
what
AD?
happened? What just
What is
happened,
up?
man?
He's no I don't think he's the brow anymore. He's the cake. He's carrying all that cake, man. Did you see that photo? It was probably the worst
Look at
photo that you could ever take.
all that Texas barbecue, man.
Okay, I've tried Texas barbecue,
Oh,
and
bro,
I gotta say I
bro,
totally understand where he's coming from.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, that's just if
yeah.
you. I mean, it's definitely not good for you if you eat it every day, right?
It's
But
no,
it's one of the most tasteful, one of the most
yeah,
rewarding pieces of meals that you can get.
yes,
And
100%. Yep.
again, I haven't been to Texas,
Mm,
but I know that there's a lot of restaurants there that just offer you insane servings.
mm,
Okay, I remember I think it was at a Texas Roadhouse in California or something.
right.
There was 64-ounce steak, 64 ounces, man. 64 ounces
Goodness.
is insane. Okay,
That's just for the record, that's 4 pounds.
all right,
Yeah.
that's almost 2 kilograms worth of meat over here.
Hmm.
That's insane. If you eat one,
Yeah.
at this point I could barely eat a kilogram of meat.
Mm.
Maybe when we were young we would probably be able
We
to
could.
chop
Yeah. Yeah.
to chop this down easy.
Yeah.
But but it's just too big. And imagine
Mm.
AD just going to those steakhouses,
Yeah.
barbecue places, just getting all
Right.
this. Nico might have a point with Luca getting
Yeah.
fat because
Yeah.
this is AD is just he's got a lot of cake right now. He's baking.
Yeah.
He's in the kitchen baking with that cake.
Mm.
And but all jokes aside, right?
All jokes
It's
aside, it's a snowball. It's a snowball effect of the trade. Like the fans are pissed. The culture is like in the dumps. Like they're a lost team right now.
they're 3-9.
Even
So
the silver lining of the last few months for the Mavericks is getting that number one pick, and Cooper Flag. He's decent, 13 points a game.
He's on my
You
fantasy team and he sucks, man. He's horrible. I think so. They're trying to force him into a point guard role right now. So with
right.
Kyrie Irving out,
Yeah.
and the only backup point guard they got is D'Lo. Essentially,
Yeah.
they essentially gave the keys to Cooper Flag to run the point, and he's been
Early.
struggling
Yeah.
with that role. Listen,
Yeah. Mhm.
if he give him a couple of years, he might actually be a great, 6'9"
Mhm.
point. He's 6'9", right? 6'8", 6'9".
Right.
So he might be that next great big point guard. But at this
Mhm.
point in time, the Mavericks just suck. They're 3-9. At one point, they were the worst team in the West.
Yep.
And you mentioned AD. He's been hurt most of the year.
Mhm.
He had the eye issue, and now he's got that calf issue that they're gonna be very, very careful with.
Yeah.
That's essentially what KD got before he
Right.
came back early, and we saw what happened there.
Yeah.
That's what Halliburton had as
Mhm.
well, and we saw what happened there.
Yep.
So we know where this leads, and it's just good for the Mavs to just make sure that they protect this investment because
Mhm.
you mentioned it's the worst trade in Mavs history. I'm gonna go further, man. It's the worst trade in NBA history, in my opinion. You're the Dallas Mavericks essentially
Mhm.
traded a young superstar, a franchise player in his prime,
Their
100%
cornerstone.
in his prime,
Yep.
right? You had him. Sure, he was gonna sign an extension regardless, but he
Mhm.
was under contract, right? He was willing to stay on that team. He
Mhm.
was doing the work,
Yeah.
and then you shipped him off for a injury-prone center who's 5 years older,
Mhm.
and that's the only thing you got. Max Christie's a good piece to add to that
Yeah.
trade, but I think you only got one first round pick or something.
They only got one first round pick, man.
That's the worst trade
That's
that you could
just
do.
yeah. That's just terrible.
You just threw away a perfectly good asset in order to chase
Mhm.
Anthony Davis. And there, the funny thing here is that there was a there were now before we go to that, the scapegoat part. I totally agree. I think
Mhm.
this is probably part of his job. Really, remember
Mhm.
all the shit that he talked about after they made the trade. You remember how he essentially said, "Oh, defense wins championships.
Oh
This and
yeah.
that." I mean, I 100% agree. This trade is not something that would go down without the owner signing off.
Yeah.
And you got the owner now saying there were reports that are coming out that the guy Patrick Dumont doesn't
Mm.
know anything about basketball. He doesn't know anything about the game. He just took Nico's words at face value and took
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Really? You paid how much for this team, and you say you throw away your best
You
asset?
know shit about the game. That's just
You,
sad, man.
do you expect us to believe that, really? Right, Mr.
Mhm.
Dumont? Do you expect us to believe that? Really?
No.
Really? Did you just listen to this man, and you thought he was basketball Jesus, and you listen to all his words, and you think that he was saying the perfect things? You think that's it?
Nah.
I will not. You're either too stupid to own a
Mm.
basketball team, or you're putting him under the bus. There's no in between there.
Right.
There's no middle ground. It's just
That's sad.
I
Yeah.
he knew about this. He knew about this trade.
Mm.
He knew what Luca meant as an asset, not
Mhm.
just as a basketball player. He knew what Luca meant as an asset to this team,
Mhm.
the valuation as far as
Oh yeah.
the
Mhm.
business side is concerned. So
Oh yeah.
100%, Nico Harrison got scapegoated.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
100%, the owner knew what he was doing,
Mhm.
and what happens now is going to be interesting because we mentioned AD is out. He's been out for a while. I don't think
Mhm.
he should be playing basketball this year,
Yeah.
if you ask me, or
Mhm.
at least this year, not this season. Right? He might be out for the rest of the year and come back in
Mhm.
2026,
Right.
in the latter half of the season. You got
Mhm.
Kyrie out with, was that an ACL tear? That's an ACL tear.
Or ACL. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's gonna be back maybe February or something.
Mhm.
So you now have those two older players injured, and then you got
Mhm.
Clay Thompson. We're gonna talk about Clay a little bit,
Yeah.
but are we seeing the end of this team? Are we seeing a fire sale incoming?
Wow. We could. Honestly, we could. I mean, how if you're a Mavs fan, like how do you go from Mark Cuban to this? Like Mark Cuban was the owner who turned things around for Dallas, and now
Mm.
this team is looking like what they were in the '90s. Like I'm not sure if you remember, but before the era of the three J's,
Yeah, I remember that.
Jamal
That was the Ross
Mashburn,
Perot era, right?
yeah, Jim Jackson, Jason Kidd, there was a stretch. There was 2 seasons I think in the '90s where the Mavs went 11-71,
Mm.
and the following year they went 13-69 because of bad
Nice.
ownership and bad roster moves. Then they drafted Jim Jackson, um, and then the following year when they went 13-69, they drafted Mashburn, and then it was only when they drafted Jason Kidd that they kind of brought that another sense of respect for that team. And of course, Cuban's ownership was like the height, and this is when they became perennially a good team, and they even have one championship you know under their
Yeah.
belt. And now you come back to this, and it's just sad what's going on. You have an owner who, I don't know. Yeah, like you said, we don't know if how true is it that he doesn't really know anything about basketball, but you know, it's just it's sad. It's a sad say. And, yeah, you're right. We might see a fire sale coming.
Hey, let's look at the draft picks that they have,
Yeah.
right? If
Hmm.
they were to tag, I think, and as we say this, Cooper Flag is out as well. Cooper Flag, I believe, exited that game with an injury.
Mm-hmm.
I actually haven't checked my fantasy team today, so
Uh,
let's see. Let's see. So I believe he was injured. I don't even know if he's going to be playing, but assuming that he is, regardless or not, the Mavs have to tank at this point, right?
yeah.
They have to tank, but here's the problem. I'm just looking at the draft picks that they have, right? So they own their draft pick next year, which is good.
Right.
So they really have an incentive to draft, to tank for next year, and they probably should, right? That's the logical solution here. Now,
Mm-hmm.
their 2027 pick is top two protected,
Mm-hmm.
so they have to the Mavs have to get either the first or the second pick, or this pick goes to, in this
Or
case, Charlotte,
goes to Charlotte. Yeah.
right? And now, the 2028 pick. This is interesting. So this is where I fucking hate this timeline.
Yeah.
This is a swap that they owe to OKC. Okay,
Mm.
so OKC can swap their picks with Dallas, and
Yep.
if the Dallas Mavericks are tanking, 2028 pick is probably gonna be a high pick. It's gonna be a good pick for OKC. They might add another fucking stud in the
Yeah.
draft because of dump
Sheesh.
trades. Okay, and
Woo.
now, and the 2029 is also
Mm.
it's another pick, swap related pick that's
Mm.
they don't really own really. So the only pick that they fully own outright is their draft pick next year, and after that they don't have any. That's the problem with this team.
Wow.
Okay, so if they start tanking now,
Right. Mm.
I mean, who's the guy they're gonna get next year? Doesn't I mean, it doesn't guarantee to be a stud. Doesn't
Mm.
guarantee to change their fortunes.
No.
But they're in a position where they AD has to be paid eventually. I
Mm.
think he's got so after this year, I believe he's got another guaranteed year
Mm-hmm.
and a player option. So AD wants to get paid. That's
Yeah.
number one. You got Kyrie, who's I believe gonna be a free agent soon, or I think he just signed an extension.
Mm.
But he's old, right?
Yeah.
He's you got Clay Thompson. We're going to talk about Clay now. You got Clay Thompson, who's been. I mean, he's living his life right now. And Clay is
The
living
thing
the
is with
life.
Klay Thompson, I don't really hear a lot except for his
Right?
relationship with Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah,
So
he's dating a baddie, right?
yeah.
He's publicly dating a baddie, and
Yep.
Megan is beautiful, right? And he's probably plays probably not thinking a lot about basketball right
Yeah,
now. Yes, he's thinking of something else, but you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
there's a little different bounds that he's thinking essentially. But look, he's Clay's 30 is his late 30s as well. He's out of his prime really.
Right.
And the sad thing about this is that he came to Dallas because he wanted to play with Luca
Hmm.
and he wanted to play with Kyrie, and now both of them are out.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we're talking about fire sale, the most the probable trade here is AD. You trade AD.
Hmm.
Okay, this is he AD is the one who's gonna get you the most value back,
Right.
and he doesn't even have a lot of value at this point because
Mm.
he's injury prone. He's old. He's hurt, and
He's out of shape.
that's an
He's injury
Achilles
prone. Yeah.
waiting to tear.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
from that what they've been saying.
Yep.
That's AD is the best trade chip that they have at this point,
Mm.
and you gotta ask who's crazy enough to trade for this guy right now.
Right.
Do you think the
Yeah.
Lakers should trade for him? You
To
think
get
the
him
Lakers should
back.
trade for him? Right? You think the Lakers should trade for AD? Is that possible? Because I don't think he's getting bought out. Okay, so
Uh-huh.
AD has a lot of guaranteed money on that deal.
Right.
There's no way the Dallas Mavericks buy him out. Okay, this is not gonna
Yeah.
happen. The best scenario here is that he gets bought out and he goes back to the Lakers.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's not gonna happen.
No.
He's earning, I believe, $54 million this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Okay, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
If you're trading for Anthony Davis, you essentially have to send back $54 million worth of salary.
Mhm.
In the Lakers' case, that would take Rui, Kleber, Gabe Vincent, and probably a couple of other things just to make
Right.
the salaries work. So I don't think the Lakers should be trading for Anthony Davis anytime
Yeah.
soon. Okay, if he didn't have that leg injury, maybe I'd do it. But given the fact that
Mhm.
I mean, that's if he plays, he's probably gonna tear his Achilles. That's just how
Right.
bad his injury luck is. I don't want to. The Lakers should be doing this. Given AD's salary,
Right.
here's the interesting team that could trade for AD, in my opinion.
Mhm.
How about the Clippers, man?
Ooh. You know what?
The Clippers can trade for AD.
I've seen some scenarios in which AD goes to the Bulls actually, but
That's one.
The Clippers sounds interesting too.
That's one. So,
Yeah.
so this essentially, if he wants to go back, so he can go. If the question here is, where is he gonna be happy at? Is he gonna be happy in LA, or is he gonna be happy at home in Chicago? So let's talk
Chicago.
about the Clippers. So
Yeah.
the Clippers don't have the same salary matching problems that the Lakers have. They have
Right.
John Collins earning 26.5. They can send out Bogdanovich.
Right.
That's already $42 million. So you just need a couple more players to make it work.
Yeah.
All right, and that's gonna be an easier fit for them. It's
Right.
gonna be funny though because they just lost Bradley Beal for the season,
Yes.
and we all know how durable Kawhi Leonard is. So imagine a Kawhi and AD pairing.
Oh my
And
God.
it's funny that we're talking about this now because this almost happened with the Lakers. But
Yeah. It almost
imagine a
happened.
Kawhi and AD pairing at this time.
Team street clothes.
Street clothes over spotlights.
Yeah.
Imagine that. I think it's the most Clippers thing to do if they trade for
Yeah.
Anthony Davis. To be
It
honest,
would be
I
the
think
most Clippers thing to do. Yeah.
right. It's gonna be the most Clippers thing to do, and they're gonna miss so many games. Who cares?
Yeah.
They don't have draft picks anyway. Who cares?
They don't.
But
Yeah.
the Chicago one is interesting because the Bulls are winning right now.
Yeah.
The Bulls are winning right now. But the thing with Chicago is that do you even want to mess with this formula at this point? You're
Exactly.
playing so well,
Yeah.
and you don't really have a lot of assets to trade either.
Hmm.
That the Mavs would want. But
Right.
what this a Vucevic AD pairing was one thing that the Lakers we wanted on the Lakers. We wanted this on the Lakers.
Yeah.
Okay, so if this happens in the Bulls, would this take them over? So if you look at let's just to frame it right. So the Bulls are surprisingly well. They started off great, but they kind of been sucking. So they're back in the 9th seed right now, in the play-ins as we expected. But maybe AD could push them to the top. You think it's a good trade to make on the Bulls' part?
again, I'm kind of iffy. I'm kind of iffy um about making a change to a system that's already working. Um, Besides, I really don't see any assets that the Bulls have that the Mavericks would be interested in. To be honest, I mean, they could they could include Josh Giddey in the package, but he's
They
playing
shouldn't.
this.
No,
I don't think the Bulls are gonna do that.
no, no.
He's
Giddy's
playing.
been good.
He's playing really well this year.
He's been amazing. And
Yeah.
the Bulls have, well, you ask what the Bulls have that the Maps want. Well, they have all their
Mhm.
draft picks. That's the thing.
Mhm.
The Bulls have all their draft picks. They
Right.
can send them over a couple. I at this point, I don't think you should be giving more than 2 first round picks for AD,
Yep.
given his age. So that's gonna be an easy thing.
Mhm.
The Bulls have their own draft picks, but if they can get AD, this probably helps them in the East, given how weak
Mhm.
that conference is right now.
Yeah.
They're all bunched together. The Bulls have 5 losses, but the number two Knicks have 4. So
Mhm.
this is still wide open, if you ask
Oh
me.
yeah.
So do I think the Bulls should make this? The question there
Mm.
becomes: do you want to pay Anthony Davis max money when he's 35? I think
Right.
that's probably the question you're gonna be asking
Yeah.
yourself here, if you're gonna be trading for this guy.
Mhm.
I do hope he's bought out though.
Yeah.
I'm being selfish. Do
Yeah.
you think AD would want to even come back to the Lakers at this point?
At this point,
You think?
I'm not sure, but
I'll put a little bit of context on it. So
okay.
we mentioned Nico, the Lakers legend, earlier.
Mm.
So the timeline for that trade. So the Luka trade happened in February, if I'm not mistaken.
February.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it happened in February, right? So apparently there are now reports that are coming out that Rob Pelinka has been shopping AD. Was shopping AD since December 2024.
Hmm.
Okay, so that infamous photo of Pelinka and Nico Harrison in the coffee shop, which I think should be, if they're gonna make a statue for Rob Pelinka, that's
Ah,
probably the statue
yeah,
they make. Okay,
yeah,
that's it with him and Nico.
yeah.
That's the statue they make. They should. That photo was taken the January 2024 5.
January 2024.
So essentially, what the news said was that the moment Nico heard that AD was being shot by Palinka,
Mm.
he gave Palinka a call, and that was that meeting. That essentially was
Wow.
the meeting that they had, which
Right.
led to the Luka trade. No, I
Dang.
don't think AD wants to come back. I don't think AD wants to come back to the Lakers. I don't
Yeah.
think it's gonna be a sell for him, given the fact that
Uh,
he was probably shopped without him knowing.
right. Yeah.
Which actually is a good thing, because the worry about this Laker team after LeBron leaves
Hmm.
is that the Lakers don't want to be paying a 35-year-old Anthony Davis max
Oh
money.
no. No.
And I don't know if you agree with me on this one or disagree. I don't see Anthony Davis as a number one guy. Would you agree with that? What are
No.
your thoughts on that?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, if you look at his career, yeah, most of the time he has he has been not the number two guy. Um, he was drafted by the Hornets slash Pelicans, and was playing under Chris Paul. There was a brief time in the Pelicans where he was the main guy. You know, then again, I know given his history of injuries, it doesn't seem likely that um, you can that you can be a championship caliber team with him as your number one and not have any other assets to begin with because of his injury history.
What did you see with? Did you see anything specific with AD on the Lakers, with regards to, because logically speaking, he was the next in line if LeBron leaves, right? That
He
was that
was,
was
yeah.
always going to be.
Hmm.
Did you see what are your observations, if anything, with AD on the Lakers when it comes to the leadership stuff?
He was. It was. He was. He. I felt he was. I felt he was more of a follower. I just felt like it was it definitely was LeBron's team. LeBron was the LeBron was the alpha, especially in that bubble winning team. But never really, saw him as like, an alpha dog. Like, given that, let's say the Luka trade never happened, LeBron retires, you got AD as your, as your primary. Um, is it, like in a 1-2 punch with Austin, that would have been hypothetically the scenario if LeBron retired. I think Austin would still emerge as the leader, and AD as like the second, the Robin to the Batman,
So at this point, I think we're in agreement, right?
yeah,
Anthony Davis is probably the best sidekick in NBA history.
in history, yeah. Mm.
I think he's gonna be that guy.
Mhm.
I wish that he would have won more championships, but
True.
if you plug in AD with an alpha, with a good alpha, he would have won so many
Yeah.
championships. And it's like a proof of point here is that without if he didn't get injured in 2021, was it? They probably could have won.
Mm.
If
Yeah.
LeBron and him were healthy after
Yeah.
that bubble year, they probably could have won too, right? So
No.
that should be something that they can be proud of.
Yep.
Now, AD has been very before we actually close this out. I was thinking of something. AD was very as you mentioned the injuries, right? But he's managed to play a lot of games.
Yeah.
He managed to play a lot of games, put up a lot of stats.